Okay, I think it's time to start the presentation. So first of all, very much welcome to this presentation about experience, why experience matters. My name is Mika Alapiessa. I'm from a company called MobileBridge, and we are an ISV focused on delivering only one thing. It's a mobile engagement automation platform. And I will talk a little bit later about it in detail. Now, my responsibility is, I'm a partner in a company. I've been with the company now 4 years. We were a little startup 4 years ago. Now we are about 40 people, and we are growing. I have also a colleague here with me from our team here in Italy. So if there are any Italians who want to actually learn about our platform in Italian, so Stefano is the right guy to talk to you. Now, I have to confess that I'm not a developer. So you're not going to see any source code, or I'm not going to talk about frameworks or QA or whatever. But what I want to do is I want to give you a kind of a little bit different view about mobile, what's happening in mobile, what's working, what's not working, and also bring you in the world of the marketeers, because I think many of you are working very closely with marketeers. You know, they're using the work you are producing in their efforts in marketing. Now, I was going to have actually a little bit more sort of technical muscle here with me, our CTO, Leo Labon, because he said, I have to be there because you are going to talk to developers. First of all, he said, you are crazy, you know, because they are not going to listen to you because you are not going to talk about source code and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, he unfortunately fell sick, and so he is not here to do a demo, so that's why we recorded a demo for you. And we have actually a workshop about our platform a little bit later this afternoon. So let's have a look what I want to cover today. We have about half an hour, so it's me between you and lunch, so I try to be quick. But really, as I said, give you a kind of idea what's happening. And then talk about you know, what's working, what's not working, experience, and then give you a couple of ideas what we have learned about delivering these mobile projects. And these mobile projects have been sometimes with big retailers, sometimes they are in the B2E, or sometimes in the B2B space. But the experiences and the key learnings basically are very much the same across these projects. So I want to share that with you and give you maybe a couple of ideas to think about. And then, of course, the demo, and then if there are questions, I'm happy to answer them. Now, maybe some of this information is not new to you, but I just wanted to share with you that according to Forrester, 90% of the consumers can be reached through mobile in 2 years' time. And I remember when I started, you know, really working in this mobile space, one of the questions I got was always about penetration. You know, how many people are actually using and so on. And now those questions are gone. So basically, mobile is the most powerful channel there is for brands to reach consumers. But it's not only about between brands and consumers, it's also about what we see now happening is that companies are starting to use it for actually reaching their own employees. Because they know that everybody has a mobile phone in their pockets and nobody reads emails, so we need to do something. Or they are also starting to use mobile as a means to communicate with their business partners. We have, for instance, we have one interesting project with a tech distributor in the Netherlands who is using our technology to communicate with themselves and their resellers. Now, it's not only about that the penetration of mobile is increasing, it's also about what is interesting is that more and more people are actually allowing brands to talk to them through mobile. So they're allowing push messaging, in-app messaging. They want to be notified based on their proximity, for instance, to the store, or if they are in the store. So those numbers are also increasing. And I just saw recently a very interesting article about millennials. Quite a few fit in that category. But they actually, majority of millennials want to download app from their favorite brand. So the number of apps we have in our phones is increasing. And also what is increasing is how many times we reach to our mobile devices per day. So it's all good. It's getting better. But it's not perfect yet. Now, 80% of our digital time is used in mobile applications, in mobile phones. And if you think about that, this is a lot. And only 8% is used in mobile web, and then we have another 8% used in applications in tablets, and the rest is on the desktop. So what this means is that there's lots of appetite for applications which are in mobile. So this is interesting. Now, this is maybe a little bit sort of a more high level, but basically, this is from Adobe survey, by the way. I'm ex-Adobe, so I have a lot of respect for this company, and they do annually. You should download this; it's freely available. This survey. They're surveying in this year. They was surveying 14,000 marketeers. They were asking all sorts of questions, and by the way, later in the presentation, I will share a couple of interesting data points next to this. But basically, one thing which is happening also now is that mobile is driving digital transformation. Companies are starting to see mobile much, much more strategic. So basically, they are building the business model, and they are aligning actually their companies internally around mobile. So the mobile touchpoints, the mobile engagements, and the mobile journeys are becoming much more central in how they go to the market. So this is much bigger than are we building an app or are we building a mobile web app and so on. Now, maybe the good news for you delivering applications is that there will be a huge gap between the demand and supply of mobile applications. So this is from Gartner, and they are really saying that, hey, there will be explosion. So I think we all think that, okay, we have seen the kind of momentum building, but it's even accelerating and getting bigger. And now, of course, the question would be, like, how do we solve this problem? And I think you guys are doing a fantastic job on, finding new ways, more efficient ways to, deliver applications, test them, design them, and so on. But I think, there needs to be kind of new ways also to bridge this gap. And I will talk about that a little bit later. Now, in a mobile world, if you get these apps right, they convert much, much better than anything else in digital marketing. So, for instance, in a commerce side, they are performing 3 times better, or the conversion is 3 times higher than, for instance, the mobile web-based applications. It's quite interesting. Now, we have seen this because in our platform, we support things like mobile surveys and so on. So we have seen consistently conversion rates, for instance, with mobile surveys, above 50%. And like one supermarket chain which started to use these mobile surveys, marketers couldn't believe it. Because normally, if you use email to distribute these surveys and try to get the answers back, the marketers would be happy if they get 3% or more. So if you get these apps right, people love them, they use them, and they are driving results. Now, it's not all that good. The potential is there. However, we as an industry, we have lots to do still. For instance, I don't know if you've seen this, but after 2 months, only 25% are still using the apps they downloaded. So basically, if I look at it from other point of view, 75% of the people are stopping using the apps. So the acquisition is great, retention is poor. So the question is actually, why is this happening? Because this is a massive waste in the industry. And I think there's a sort of a, I call it experience gap between what apps are built to do and what the consumers are expecting from them. And I will come back to this a little bit later. Now, when I started to really look into this matter, I found out this is from Localytics. This is a very interesting chart, so let me explain briefly what it means. So this here is number of engagement per month. Engagement when the app is actually engaging with you, push message or in-app message or whatever, like that. And then this is how many people continue using the app after a month and how many people leave the app after a month, stop using it. So you can see a clear trend. The more the app is engaging with consumers, the better chances are that people continue using it. And I think this is one of the sort of key sins, especially in the past, that when marketers were designing the apps, they kind of forgot about it, that apps are not just about distributing information, it's about engaging with consumers. And one of the reasons, which I cover also later, was that marketers were sort of thinking that the app as a channel or mobile as a channel is exactly the same as the other channels. Now, they also find out that this is the kind of secret sauce, is that if you engage 3 times in the first 3 days with a consumer through your app, they're going to use it. So this is all about when you download the app and then log in and what happens then, and the welcome messages and then kind of all these kind of things. So this is super important. Now, one thing which I see being still a kind of unsolved issue is the data. And what I mean by that is the data to be used to segment the audience, engage with the audience. Typically in organizations, especially from marketing point of view, the data is siloed in many different type of systems. We have e-commerce systems, we have CRM systems, we have loyalty systems, and so on. And because this data is all over the places, it's very difficult, no, not difficult, but the kind of 360 view of consumers is very difficult to accomplish, which means that it's more difficult to segment the audience, make sure that they get the right content, the right time, in the right place. Also, now, what is one of the focus areas of the marketeers is like, how do you bridge the on and offline worlds? So, to give you an idea, how do we engage with the consumer who walks into a store, and how do we capture that data that this person has been now in the store 3 times, more than an hour at the time. So how do we take that data, use it for engagement in mobile, but also how can we use that data for engaging with the consumers through other channels. If we can do this, it's a super, super powerful. Now, cost and time. I think you all have heard about customers complaining that it's too expensive to build mobile applications and it takes too much time. And I think it's partly true. So marketers don't really have much appetite for long kind of IT projects. When they decide that they want to start using, for instance, mobile applications, they want to have it like yesterday. And the other aspect here is that, and this is what we are hearing, is that, okay, I'm the CMO of the company, I'm using 80% of my budget to this and this and this, these kind of old things, what we are doing, and then I'm using a little bit testing, and then there's the mobile. And the mobile is okay, okay, let's try it out, but we don't have much budget to build it up. Then the next thing is that the company or the people who are building the app says, okay, minimal viable product. Hey, why don't we just get something done and throw it out there and then wish the best? And this is a recipe for disaster. Because if the mobile application doesn't provide the experience, it's going to fail. So this is one thing what's happening all the time. Now, I think I see also emerging the new kind of ways of acquiring mobile applications, which are based on, for instance, accelerators. So they are more than just those frameworks you are using for building them, but they're actually app frameworks which provides functionality which just needs to be customed to brand. So that's one way of looking at this. Now, doing a kind of a deep dive in where the money is going in these mobile projects. So I find out, this is from US, I found out that this is a survey done with 12 leading mobile development companies in the world. So they kind of, first of all, they told what a kind of a app project, the value in a kind of medium, so between 40 and 180,000. Of course, there are projects which are less than that and more expensive to that, even to millions. But the key point here is that it looks like the most of the effort and time is going to build the infrastructure. So it's a little bit like, okay, you guys are, using databases for your application, but you are not building the databases. So the infrastructure also means connectivity. So I think what we as an industry should start thinking like, okay, how do we can replace this effort in the middle and focus on this part where the real value is generated? What the app is doing, why it's doing that, how do you measure success, and so on. So this is definitely something to keep in mind. And one of the more kind of this is from our own survey. We survey marketeers, and interestingly, quite many of the marketeers don't know how to measure mobile success. So they actually can't tie, the app performance, the retention, all that kind of stuff, the basic analytics into success. Success being, for instance, revenue, or it could be loyalty or brand awareness. So that's definitely an area where we can help them. And also, they know that most of the apps they have basically brought to the market are not really engaging, so there's lots of room of improvement. Now, admitting this is a part of the solution, of course. Now, I need to speed up here a little bit, but I wanted to bring you to the sort of world of the marketeers a little bit. What's going on in their minds, what they are focused on, and what kind of challenges they are facing. So this part is all about that. So now, going back to this Adobe marketing survey, so these are the kind of key initiatives, key focus points, based on those, based on that survey of 14,000 people. So one thing which stands out clearly is customer experience. And by the way, these are not exclusive. But customer experience is becoming one of the most important things marketers are thinking. You know, it's not only about product, it's also about when you buy the product, use it, what is the experience? Then the other thing I mentioned earlier is data-driven marketing. They really know that they have to get the house in order with this. If they don't do that, then experience will suffer, and cross-channel marketing is also very, very difficult, because you need to have data available for different channels and able to use that seamlessly across the channels. And then, of course, we have the mobile. And this actually resonates very well with the number, how many companies are considering to be mobile first. And we see, by the way, that they are only mobile only as well kind of companies emerging. So this is what they are, these are the challenges, what they are focused on. Now, this is one of my favorite topics, and I kind of alluded to this already, that marketers need to understand, and I think you need to understand this as well, that the channels from the technology point of view are different. The demand, the experience we need to give to the consumers is changing from channel to channel. To give you an example, you know, sorry about that. If I look the more traditional channels like web and email, it's all about making information available. It's about broadcasting information, yeah? It's about segmenting the audience, for instance, based on their age or their gender and so on. Sort of big chunks. It's about using prefabricated assets. So this is the more traditional. Now the mobile is totally different beast. Mobile is all about establishing a conversation between the brand and the consumers, or the brand and the employees. It's about automating those mobile moments, and it's about creating these segments of one. So if I'm a brand and I'm going to send you a message, it needs to be 100% personalized and in context for you. If it's not, you get annoyed very quickly. And this is, of course, a challenge when you want to do that for hundreds of thousands of people from a scalability point of view and so on. Now, also, the other aspect here is if you want to orchestrate, for instance, customer journeys, which are touching the mobile and then email and so on, you need to take this into account. So quite a few of these mobile marketing automation solutions don't kind of differentiate the kind of characteristics of these different channels. And if you don't do that, then you kind of are not unleashing the full potential of mobile, and you actually risk to annoy people, sending them something they are not interested in. Going back to our survey, we asked them, so where do you invest the money in mobile? So mobile web, yes, responsive stuff, that's number one. But then good second is mobile applications. So the marketers are really wanting to create new applications and so on. But quite a few actually were kind of saying that, okay, we have already done the version 1.0 of our mobile application, but it's kind of not really engaging or doesn't perform. So why don't we just revamp it? And the sort of instant thinking of many marketers is like, if my app is not working, I have to build a new one. And what we are saying is that, hey, let's first understand why is it not performing, and then what could we do to make it perform better, because it's much faster, cheaper, and efficient to basically add functionalities to existing apps. For instance, by plugging an engagement platform into them. And we have good examples about that. I'm talking a lot about engagement. And as you know, engagement started in this kind of a domain with push messages. Now in-app messages, messages when you have actually app open, that's becoming more and more popular. And interestingly, millennials are very open for this, so don't be afraid of using them. And social is always a means to engage with the consumers through mobile. But I think also the untapped opportunity is here. How do you use games, for instance, gamification for engagement? How do you use loyalty? How do you use surveys? Not even mention videos. It's all doable. So I think the engagement is sort of focused on the means opposed to the content. And I think this is one of the issues which needs to be fixed. So the engagement and content goes in hand to hand. And then the top goals, which I said earlier, for marketers are kind of difficult, but they are hoping, they can't measure this, they can't prove it, you can help them with this, is to drive, of course, revenue, it's improved engagement, the brand awareness, and it's about building loyalty. These are the grand goals every marketer has. And I think there's kind of things we can do to help them to understand how this is driving that. Now, based on the project we have done, I wanted to sort of create a kind of a list of what constitutes great engagements in terms of mobile. So first of all, I said earlier, it has to be personalized, in context. It has to be valuable, fun. Nothing drives so well conversion than fun. Fun could be a game. Surprising. In a moment, when you walk in the store, you get something. When you walk from the store, you get something. Or you install the app first time, you get something. It needs to be consistent across the channels. Timely, no latency. And then finally, try to orchestrate this kind of engagement into a kind of logical, kind of automated workflows. We call them journeys. This is very important. And actually, many times when we start working with our with customers, we first are actually creating, before we're building the apps, we are defining what are the journeys, what are the kind of touch points and engagement we want to provide through the app. And then we go into the technology. Now let's have a look at a video. And this is about a customer journey which is incorporating two different channels. There's e-commerce, there's mobile, and then a couple of examples about what kind of assets can be used for engagement.
The key to bridging the gap between your customers' online and in-store experiences and boosting sales is mobile. But the question that most businesses are asking is how? The answer? By connecting your customers' e-commerce data and mobile activity with MobileBridge. Here's an example of how MobileBridge helps you understand and engage your customers through their mobile devices. A new customer, Mary, is browsing your online catalog on her laptop and puts some items in her cart. She decides, however, not to check out. Now watch what happens. Mary's walking near your store and gets a push notification that the products she left in her online cart are available right there in the store. She decides to go inside and receives a welcome voucher with coupons for other items. Mary makes her purchases and leaves, happy she bought the products she wanted as well as other discounted items. She then receives a survey that helps you learn even more about her experience and preferences. Only MobileBridge allows you to connect your customers' online and offline worlds so you understand them, engage them, drive revenue, and ultimately create passionate, loyal customers. Contact us today to learn more.
It's an example of a journey which we're actually doing. And these drop baskets, by the way, it's a $1.3 trillion problem. So we all drop things and leave it in a basket. So would it be nice that you get a notification that you have something in the basket? If you transact now, then you get free shipment or you get 5% discount or whatever. All right, we are coming to almost to the end, and then I just have the demo. Now the kind of a best practices, I guess this should read, what we have learned from our projects is, first of all, focus on the engagement and the journeys. That's highly important. Data, make sure that you have the right data available for targeting. You have data from the other systems. You can actually store the data in your mobile CRM and so on. Make sure that the data is actionable and real time. Because if it's not, then automating those mobile moments is very difficult. The systems, have systems which scale up. So you might have in the first month only 10,000 downloads, but 6 months later you might have 300,000. So actually, is your system built for that kind of scale, security, and connectivity also? Connectivity is always a question which comes a little bit later. Okay, we want to connect now our mobile app to our e-commerce system, or we want to use our CRM data in a mobile. So how do you do that? Then I think this is something we need to do together as an industry, is to figure out how we can speed up really the app delivery and also reduce the cost. Because if we can do that, more and more companies are starting to use mobile apps. Privacy, I mean, these companies are going to be, by the end of this year, mark my words, they're going to be absolutely hysterical about this, because the law in EU is changing in 2018. So the privacy is one thing, I think, which is coming even to your field more often than before. And make sure that you kind of tick all the boxes of the new privacy legislation. Then collect and distribute the data. What I mean by this is it's very important that you collect the data about app usage and so on, and you can start actually linking the performance of the app to those business goals or the marketer's goals. And then finally, there's so much cool technologies happening, like artificial intelligence, predictive analytics and so on, A/B testing and virtual assistants and so on. I think mobile is a great place to start experimenting with this. And I think this is going to happen very fast. Now, I'm starting to run out of time, so I go this super quickly through, and then I show the demo, and then I'm done. So mobile engagement automation, and this is a kind of a methodology we are presenting to our customers. And it goes roughly like this, okay? Make sure that you have the data. Make sure that you have kind of visibility to those key KPIs you want to follow. Make sure that you can do that kind of a granular segmentation. And then make sure that you have a kind of a set of automating those engagements, those journeys. And then when those engagements happen, that you can collect that information and then use it to improve the engagement. So it's kind of a loop. I think you get the idea here. And this is very important, because the more data you have, the better you can target, the more satisfied customers you have, and so on. So this is kind of our methodology. Now, let's go to the demo. I think I've kind of said enough here. And apologies that our CTO couldn't be here. So we kind of recorded a demo, which is about kind of this is a fake supermarket app. And what you will see a customer journeys is based on personas. And then you see different type of engagements happening here. This is only 2 minutes, and so I hope that you will like this.
And after a long day's work. So, what should I serve my kids tonight? I want to prepare it fast and it must be healthy. If you're a young, hardworking mom, this will sound familiar to you. So, my app comes to the rescue. Of course, my app knows that I'm a young mother with 2 children and rewards me with points each time I use the app. That's great, because I can use the points for the purchases I make. Since the app knows the type of person I am, it asks me if I want to receive daily recipes. Of course I do. It's the end of the day, so I head out to the supermarket. I arrive to the supermarket, park my car, and as I enter the supermarket, I receive a recipe for the day. Great! Spaghetti and meatballs, just what my kids love. And then I receive a discount promotion for the spaghetti. I save the promotion and redeem it when paying for my groceries. I get home and I receive some videos with some great ideas for serving the spaghetti. Now, that's really the icing on the cake. And guess what? If I would have been a 30-year-old guy, the app would have sent me content that's just right for me, such as a fun scratch card and beers to go with some chips at a party I'm throwing tonight. Content relevant to me at the time I need it. MobileBridge, we're all about contextual user engagement.
Now, for some reason, the audio and the screen was not kind of in sync. But what happened here was that the engagements were automated in our platform. Also, the content was created in that order. It was brought from other systems. And this was done without kind of programming. Of course, what it means is that our SDK needs to be integrated to the mobile app to enable this, and you need to build certain type of views like wallets and inbox for the communication and so on. But this is kind of what marketers like, because they are in a driving seat. They can define the engagements, they can work with the content they like, and they can automate those journeys. And then they can also do things like start giving points for a certain type of behavior. For instance, every time you open an app, you get 5 points. Or if you redeem something, you get 5 points. Now, about the integrations, you saw here POS integration, so you can basically close the loop, you know, how many people actually got the promotion and how many redeemed and so on. So this is done with the kind of platform. Of course, if you would look the analytics view, you would see exactly what's happening, how the app is being used, which views and so on. And then if we would add proximity into this, which is pretty cool, we could also track how many people with this app went to the store, how long they stay there, and so on. With that, I'm going to skip the case study, but just summarize, just 4 kind of bullet points I want to leave you with. So first of all, remember the engagement is important. Engage often, but with the right content. Make sure that you have the right data to work with, not only within the app, but from other systems. And make sure that you can also pass over that proprietary data from the mobile into the other channels. Then I would say, you know, it's kind of a little bit waste of time and effort to build what you can already buy or reuse. And then finally, you know, with a new mindset, I think we can make this mobile industry better than ever. Thank you so much. Do we have time for any questions?